Ready, Roy? So with Mr. R, we're going to warm up with some of our previous skills, but then we're going to also include a little bit with, we have the seesaw ramp. So I want to have him maybe try some novel items. Ready, Roy? So with Mr. R, ready? We're going to maybe warm up a little bit with some of our loose leash walking, just get him in the groove. Nice job. So again, when first warming up, I might go ahead and just make sure the rate of reinforcement is high enough to keep his engagement. Remember that if sometimes our rate of reinforcement is really slow or lacking, that's a lot of time that we can lose our dog to the environment and other distractions. So if we're finding we're having a hard time reining in our beauties, I would highly recommend that you start creating a lovely moment where there's a good reason for him to try something hard or new, because the rate of reinforcement is from his end feeling, again, something that he'd like to achieve because of the fact that we're building up value in the items we're working on. That snack was a bit wiggly. So again, if we're going to try a bit with this lovely paws up, oh, that's a beautiful sit, sir. He tends to like the flat target first. And then we might take the target mat that is flat off of the bowl and see if we can get him to target it that way as well. So we're going to see if we can do a little bit with our paws up or step up again from last week. Nice. Again, right there, beautiful. So it sometimes does take a little bit of finagling where you're kind of wiggling him back and forth until he matches his toes onto the part of the bowl where he would fit best. He's doing a real nice job. Beautiful. Gorgeous job, mister. So with Mr. R, again, we're starting off with that flat target first, and then we're going to build up to maybe taking that flat target off and seeing how he does. So I also want to give a try to this lovely seesaw. So in the beginning, we're going to lure him onto the target. Yes. If he finds it to be a little bit weird, we're going to, again, take our time. We might just do paws up on this new target and start there. So this can be helpful if, like, let's say, for example, we have to go on the scale at the vet's office, hop into the vehicle, maybe go over a little bit of an uneven bridge, because sometimes when things wiggle and move, it can feel a little bit odd to the dog, and they may not feel that it's safe. So again, just like with the lovely agility ladder that we used last week, we want to make sure that Mr. R always has the option to opt out of something. If we're always forcing him through situations, he may feel that no matter what he says, especially even at a whisper, doesn't get listened to. Yes. So we want Mr. R to think there is the option to say, no, I'm not ready, or I feel a little bit overwhelmed. Nice. So he's like, hold on, lady, I don't know how big my body is. There we go. Nice job, Roy. Gorgeous. He's like, I'm partially on, but it still counts. That was beautiful. So again, in the beginning, we are luring him onto the target. As he becomes more comfortable, more reliable, we'll start to ask for the behavior and feed right after. That was my bad. We dropped one. He says, don't worry, it's still delicious. Nice. Good job, Roy. So again, to help him start targeting the full seesaw, I want to, again, feed for when he first places his body onto the item. And then from there, I know his slime is very slippery today. Ready? And we can always reboot him. So let's say we lose him for a moment. We can regain that lovely man's attention. Nice. Good job, Roy. Get him to kind of target this lovely seesaw. And we'll try again working him across the full plank. Yes. Nice. Good job. Oh, beautiful. Smart man. Very nice, Roy. That was very impressive. Oh, such a good job. And of course, he loves offering those wonderful default sits that he has. So again, we'll try the seesaw again. And he's like, oh, tricky, tricky. That's all right. One more time. Ready? Seesaw. Yes. Ready? Nice. So there we go. Gorgeous. What a smart man. What a good job. So again, if Mr. R again is ever a little unsure, just take your time with something. There's no need to rush. Remember, when we try something novel or new, it may not be for perfection instantly. It does take some repetitions and some practice. So again, pause up. Nice, so close. He says, I'm getting so tired already. Nice job, Mr. R. Good job. Look at you being so smart. So obviously, too, with the lovely pause up or step up, we would eventually try and gain a little bit of pivoting. If your babe has just finally figured out getting a front end on, pivoting might just confuse them. So, but I'll, again, explain this a little bit later if he does ever want to go into learning how to pivot. So again, we'll hop off, and then we'll see if we can work a little bit with our bed. Yes, nice job, sir. So remember with your target training for a place exercise and then eventually a stay is you may sometimes practice on a flat mat, which could be, for example, a blanket or a dog bed that's kind of, again, not raised up. If you're finding he does better with a platform, remember how we did work a little bit with the raised cot, and that seemed to work quite well for Mr. R. Nice job. So right now as he's working, we might even try a little bit with our stay. If in the beginning you adding movement or distance becomes hard for Mr. R, try to make it more about the time frame first, and then later after time frame, it would turn into distance and distractions. So we might tell him to stay, hold it for a second or two, work him a little bit. He's a little distracted because Ebba's making some noises. Hey, Ebba, can you be a little bit more quiet off in the distance? Nice, beautiful. So in the beginning, if let's say me moving away from him was too hard for some of these stays, I would maybe add some movement around him, but not away from him. So you might start off with sideways movement and eventually transition to steps away and then steps back to feed the handsome guy. Remember that with stay, you're making it into being stationary has value. So being stationary is what's being fed. So with your stay behavior, I always like to think about it as like freeze tag with room service. So while your babe is in the stay, there is no recall, and they're being fed throughout the stay. When you want to end it, you'd feed them their last little snack, again, all done, and we'd get up and we'd leave, but there's no recall. Your wait behavior would be where you'd throw in that lovely recall. Nice job cleaning up, Sarah. Ready? So again, bed. We maybe get that little sit. Gorgeous. We might tell him to stay, and then we might go right into working a bit with that stay. Oh my goodness, chewing. So while he's doing well, I might even, again, if you feel it's easier, you can always drop your leash and just move around. If you find adding too much distraction from your end is hard for your puppy, don't start so hard. Make it much simpler and more attainable. If they were to break, just restart them up. Unless there was something environmentally that was throwing them off, or maybe they were comfort range, not feeling it for the day, don't feel you have to always end on a happy note if they can't quite handle the situation. So it's always better to take a break, give them a little moment to reboot, and then try again if you can. Nice. Beautiful. So then we go all done, and we can get up and leave our spot. What a nice job, Roy. Good work. So with Mr. R, we might try the seesaw again for a quick moment. Ready? So we're going to go ahead and do our seesaw. Nice. That is splendid. He's like, that still counts. Oh, look at the slime. Thank you. So again, with the handsome beast, if he's having a hard time, you can always go back to luring the beautiful guy into a position or a behavior. But if you're finding that you're sort of forcing the situation, be careful that, again, luring him doesn't become negative. So if this was really overwhelming, I'd want to make sure that I'm not making him choose between food and safety. I want him to still feel that it's comfortable enough to be attainable and not too scary or threatening. So sit. Nice job. What a smart man. He did beautiful with those things. Good job.